welcome back. I sorry to abruptly cut the video at the end there from the previous one, but I originally was going to try and do this problem with that video, but it was just too much and I made an error too, so I cut it. And so now we'll get this one full video for this problem right here with Paige. And we'll stop here. The other problems are similar to these, so no sense in doing a bunch over and over again. It would be redundant. So anyway, let's graph our profit function here. So Paige wants to start a summer lawn mowing business. She comes up with the following profit function that relates the total profit to the rate she charges for a lawn mowing job. So there's our profit. Profit is how much money she makes, and X is what she's charging per job. Both profit and her rate are measured in dollars. Graph the function in order to answer the following questions. Okay, so of course, since this is in standard form, we're going to go ahead and find that vertex first. So x equals negative b over 2a, right? So in this case, it would be x equals negative 4t over 2 times negative 1, which simplifies to b, negative 20, positive 20. Okay, so the vertex has an x-coordinate of 20, comma, and then what's that y-coordinate? Well, we're going to plug it in there to the function. So p of 20 equals negative 20 squared plus 40 times 20 minus 100. Okay, so negative 400, so what does that equal? So we'll type that in our calculator here just for speed of calculation. Okay, it's 300. Okay, so that's good to know. Let's see here. Make a table with 20, comma 300. Okay, rather than going like 1 ahead, rather than doing like 21 and 22 and stuff like that, I think what I'm going to do instead is count ahead by 5. So I'll do like 25 and then 30, and I'll do 15 and 10. Might give us a better representation of some stuff here. Again, I'm going to use a calculator to help me, but what you're going to do is just plug those x values in, find the matching y values. Okay, so let's do that here real quick. Okay, so for 10, for 15, for 25, and for 30. Okay, so I get 200 here, 275, and by symmetry, 275 as well, and 200 as well. Okay, the y-intercept here, if I plug in 0 for the x and 0 for the x here, those are going to cancel out with negative 100. So that's interesting. We'll have a negative profit. And believe it or not, a negative profit actually does make sense in context. So let's think about how we're going to graph this here. I need to be able to include negative numbers, but I don't really need to worry about including negative rates, right? It wouldn't make sense to have negative x values here. She wouldn't charge her customers a negative amount of money. That would be her paying them money to mow their lawns. So we don't need to worry about quadrant 2 or quadrant 3 here with negative x values. So what I might do instead is, again, kind of go rogue a little bit here. Draw my y-axis here. And then maybe just make my x-axis right here, like so. All right, now let's see if we can make this work, because we got to go up to 300, but I also need to get down to negative 100 as well for my y values. So I'm thinking maybe I will count by 20s? No, 25s maybe. So we'll see, there's 50, there's 100, there's 150, there's 200, there's 250, there's 300. And so there's 50, and there's negative 100. And then there's 50, and then there's negative 200. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, and then our x-axis, let's see here. The vertex is at 20, so that means I want to go out to 40, really, because 20 is only going to be halfway. So I think if I count by 4s, so 4, well, I'll do like every other block is 4. So I'll do 4 here, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. Okay, so let's plot some of these points. So 20 comma 300 is going to be like right here. Right, 10, 200, 10 will be right here. 10, 200 will be right here. Okay, and then 20, 300, we did that's right. 15, 275, so 15, 275, so there's 14, 15, 275 would be like right there. And then 25, 275, 25, 275. And then 30, 200, 30, 200, like that. Okay, don't forget the y-intercept of negative 100, which means that we have that one by symmetry again, because we have the symmetry right here. Okay, over here at 40, it will also be negative 100 as well. Okay, and so again, we'll just kind of connect the dots here. Oop. Okay, there we go, something like that. Okay, so there's P. According to the function, what is her initial cost? E.g., maintaining the mower, buying gas, advertising. So initial cost, that means the cost at the very start. All right, so negative 100 would be the initial cost, right? Without any lawns mowed, she's if she charges nothing, she's owes $100. So $100 is her initial cost. Because this is her profit. If she charges $0 to mow. Between what two prices does she have to charge to make a profit? So in other words, where is she making a profit, right? It's when she's above 0. So we need to figure out those x-intercepts here, which we'll get by setting this equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to divide everything by negative 1, so we'll get x squared minus 40x plus 100. Okay, or you can just think about multiplying everything by negative 1. Still equal to 0 there. Okay, can you think of two numbers that multiply to 100 but add to make negative 40? Okay, and the answer is I don't think so. I don't think it factors. So this time I'm going to use completing the square. So let's do that here. Okay, I'm going to move that 100 kind of outside here. Okay, and so I'll have an x, minus 20 there. Those will add to make that negative 40, and then what number will we have right here? Well, negative 20 times negative 20 is positive 400. And since I'm adding a 400 here, I also have to subtract a 400 as well. So I'll have a minus 300 out here. So I'll have x minus 20 squared minus 300 equals 0. So we'll add 300 to both sides. Get x minus 20 squared equals 300. Square root both sides. Plus or minus the square root of 300, which is going to be, if I simplify that, 300 is 100 times root 3, so it's going to be 10 square roots of 3. And we'll add 20 over, so x equals 20 plus or minus 10 times the square root of 3. So 20 plus 10 times the square root of 3, and 20 minus 10 times the square root of 3. So approximately 37.3 and approximately 2.7. Okay, so that is what you would have to charge to make a profit between about $2.7 and $37.3. Okay, that's where our zeros are right there. If she wants to make $275 profit this summer, is this the right business choice? $275. Well, let's see here. According to her vertex, the highest value she can get is $300 profit. So is $275 doable? Absolutely. She could charge $15 or $25 per lawn. She could charge between $15 and $25 per lawn as her rate, we'll say. Okay? Now, that might seem strange to you. Why wouldn't she just charge $25 instead of the $15? Why do both of these result in the same amount of profit even though she's making more money? Whoops, she's making more money from this $25. Well, the principle here is that when you charge more, ideally, or what's probably going to happen is fewer people will then accept your business because you're charging them more. Okay, so fewer people will be able to afford that $25. So you'll make more money per lawn, but you're going to mow fewer lawns. Whereas if you lower your price, you won't make as much money per lawn, but you'll have more lawns, and so you can still make the same amount of profit. Okay. In my opinion, I would choose the $25 because then I wouldn't have to mow as much, and I'd still make the same amount of money as I did for $15, but I wouldn't have to mow as much. So things to think about when you are making a business. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next lesson.